by Ram Trucks, built to serve.
Welcome in to First Things First. I'm Sarah Kustok, filling in for Jenna Wolf. That's the Hall of Famer, Cris Carter. That's Nick Wright. Guys,
Sarah, thank you for coming in this morning.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Good to see you, Jenna.
Sending our best to Jenna.
Yeah. Nick planned a little virus with Jenna. Jenna's going to be all right.
Jenna was fighting through it all week.
She's doing 2-a-days today at the gym.
Yeah, yesterday.
We had to get some NBA in. We do the NBA season. We're so excited about the season. So
are you ready for it?
You're in the bullpen.
Coming out.
Brought you in.
Absolutely.
We'll still stick with the NFL, though, today. We've got a jam-packed show. Zeke says he's ready for a dogfight against the Eagles. Jerry Jones might be handling Dak's contract all wrong, but we start with some Thursday night football on Fox. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs traveling to Mile High Stadium to take on the Broncos in a big AFC West showdown. Mahomes was the early season frontrunner to take home back-to-back MVP honors, but with the Chiefs on a 2-game losing streak and the Kansas City offense looking sluggish as of late, Mahomes knows it won't get any easier against the Broncos defense.
They have first of all, they have great personnel with the defensive players that they have that have came back and that have been there for a long time. And then with Coach Fangio, I mean, he's such a good, really good defensive coordinator, and then now a head coach. And so for them to have that combination, you know they're going to have a good defense. And so as an offense, we're going to have to make sure that we understand what they're trying to do and how they're trying to do it, and then find ways to have success whenever we get our opportunities.
See, all right, so we hear Patrick Mahomes talk about it, but how can the Chiefs get their offense back on track against this tough defense?
Well, it's going to be difficult because they got some mismatches on the front that is going to cause them protection. They're not going to go into this game. Typically, you can have 5 to 9 different type of pass protections. But when you're going against someone like Von Miller, and especially when you're on the road because of crowd noise, you like to cut those down and be more concise so guys can be aggressive. Kansas City's offensive line, we've seen leaks in that offensive line the last couple weeks. Nick has told us about Patty Mahomes' ankle, injured in the first game of the season. His numbers, once he gets dinged in the game, they're phenomenal. He comes into the game off to a fast start, but once he gets hit or if he re-aggravates that ankle, the numbers after that and the offense begins to suffer. I do believe because the secondary of the Denver Broncos, you can get some yards against them if he can get time to throw. I do believe it's up to Andy Reid, though. Protect that offensive line. Come up with, Andy, some type of running game to be able to protect your quarterback. And also, we're not talking about that defense, but you can't have a Kansas City discussion without talking about ribs and that defense, because that is what's going to prevent them from being a Super Bowl champion, getting to the Super Bowl, them not being able to stop people. So Andy Reid, help out that offensive line. Help out Patty Mahomes. I do believe if Patty has enough time, they don't have enough skilled defensive backs to be able to cover the wide receivers, even though they'll be without Sammy Watkins. They have a hard time covering Kelsey, and we know Tyreek Hill is a mismatch for anyone in the NFL. Nate.
So to your point, Cris, when you mentioned that in the games where Patrick Mahomes has re-aggravated or aggravated that ankle injury, weeks 1, 5, and 6, I mentioned this yesterday, not as an excuse, but so people understand what Mahomes, who has had unbelievable and unprecedented production the last year and a half, what has happened to him. In those 3 games, from the moment he hurts his ankle to the end of the game, he's 6 yards per attempt and an 80 quarterback rating. That's almost 6 quarters of football where he is a bottom third NFL quarterback, and it's all after he aggravated the ankle injury in week 1, and then after he got stepped on in weeks 5 and 6. And so what do the Chiefs need to do on a short week where the ankle is probably going to be the least healed it has been? They've got to protect him a multitude of ways. Way 1, get the ball out of his hands quick. Listen, there's nobody that enjoys watching the Chiefs do the deep strike, drop back pass offense. But what happened in the game against the Texans? With a minute left in the half, they try to go for a deep strike inside their own 25-yard line, and it's a strip sack because they can't protect him. Do some of the things you saw last year. Get the ball to Tyreek Hill out in space horizontally, quickly, and then your lack of a pass protection doesn't hurt you. Second one, a way to neutralize the pass rush is screen passes. There's no team in the league that's better at screen passes than the Chiefs with Andy Reid designing the plays.
Absolutely.
Use the pass rush against Denver. And the third one is, and I'm going to sound like Coach Mangini, run the damn ball.
There we go, Nick.
Occasionally.
There we go.
Listen, I loved it before the year when Travis Kelce said, when you think we're going to pass, we're going to pass. And when you think we're going to run, we're going to pass anyway. I loved it. And under normal circumstances, where you have your left tackle and your left guard and your quarterback is healthy and your defense maybe is playing a little bit better and can afford a quick possession offensively to where they're right back on the field, that's fine. But one of the reasons the Chiefs have been annihilated, Sarah, time of possession the last 2 games, yes, it's because their defense can't get off the field, but it's also because the offense can't stay on the field because they are they've run the ball 19 times combined in the last 2 football games, even though they've been very close games. So those 3 things are things the Chiefs should do tonight to get out of Denver with a win and then address the bigger issues moving forward.
Well, where is the balance between play calling and just opponents' defenses figuring out what Kansas City is trying to do? I mean, how much of it may be predictability and how much is it actually what they need to change with the play
When
calling?
you get in a situation, that's a good question. When you get in a situation where you're trying to protect the quarterback, you're trying to protect the offensive line, you have to run some stuff that's fairly predictable. On first down, you can't be as much play action and throwing the ball deep down the field knowing you have 2 more downs. You need to do some basic things. And just, you don't need 5, 6, 8 yards on the first carry. But the balance keeps Von Miller from teeing off, because even at 2nd and 8, it's a lot better than 2nd and 10. Or if you get tackled for a loss, you get sacked on first down. So it becomes a critical part, not only the lack of premier offensive linemen that we don't have, but also the quarterback and his overall health. Andy Reid knows that once Patty Mahomes gets injured, that his stats have suffered. So that's part of his job, to take some of that pressure off him, and that's what he can do with the running game and running some things that might seem very, very basic when you look at Kansas City, because they do more exotic things than any offense in the NFL.
I came in here Monday and I said for the first time since Patrick Mahomes was the quarterback, I was concerned. I thought you had seen in back-to-back weeks some potentially systemic issues and some real injury concerns.
You get a lot more concerned about Patty Mahomes before LeBron. LeBron is like,
well, LeBron's been doing it for 15 years. And Patrick Mahomes has suffered an injury in year 3 that LeBron didn't suffer until year 16. So LeBron, as much as I love Patty Mahomes, I can't assign
So Patty Mahomes ain't even in that?
No, not yet. Not yet. But the point I'm making is, on Monday, I was concerned. If they cannot beat a Joe Flacco-led Denver Bronco team, then I will come in tomorrow and be panicked. Then it's no longer about how they match up against New England. It is about, will they even get to play New England more than once, meaning more than the regular season matchup. I don't think the Chiefs can solve everything tonight, but it can be a red alert panicked situation in Kansas City if they leave Denver with a loss.
Let's hope our resident Yankees fan isn't coming in tomorrow morning panicked
as well.
Because it's time now for your player resume, sponsored by Indeed, the world's #1 job site. The Yankees will need a big performance out of Aaron Judge tonight in Game 4 of the ALCS against the Astros on FS1. Judge is hitting .318 with a home run and 2 RBI this postseason. So, do you expect Judge and the Yankees to even the series tonight in the Bronx?
Absolutely. I expect their stars. We know that Houston has sensational pitching. That's what they ran into in game number 3. What the Yankees, the last 2 years, what have they been about? They've been about crushing the baseball and hitting the long ball. It's going to be a little cold. Wind's going to be blowing in a little bit. You talked about the baseballs. They're different in the postseason than the ones they have in the regular season that were jumping out of all the ballparks. So, but I do believe that the Yankees, I think Nick's with me on that, the Yankees get it done tonight.
Listen, I think this is a 7-game series. I've said that all along. The only way for this to become a 7-game series is the Yankees to win. The Zach Greinke starts for the Astros. I think the Yankees win. I think their offense gets back on track. I'd say 6-3 Yankees, and then a critical swing Game 5 where the Astros made the decision to put Justin Verlander on the mound on Friday with the schedule change because of the rain out. But I like the Yankees' chances tonight.
Even also the way they hit him in game number 1.
Absolutely.
You have to come into the game with a lot of confidence.
It'll be fun to watch. All right, coming up, Ezekiel Elliott expects a knockdown, drag-out battle against the Eagles on Sunday. Hear from him next on FS1, and you can always check us out on the Fox Sports channel on Sirius XM. We'll be right back.